Long before Dragon Ball Z became the king of anime, there was a simpler, more mystical tale. A timeless adventure full of laughs, quirky characters, and martial arts. It follows a young boy named Son Goku chasing 7 legendary orbs called Dragon Balls across a world packed with danger and wonder. And this little Game Boy Advance gem? It's one of the few games that actually truly captures Akira Toriyama's original manga magic. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is a love letter to those early days. Side-scrolling action, platforming, and one-on-one battles that feel ripped straight from the anime. But here's the question, does it still hold up today? Is it just another dusty licensed game, or is it one of the best Dragon Ball titles you've probably never played? Stick around, we're diving into Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure today, and trust me, you're gonna want to see this. Dragon Ball games live or die by their visuals. Akira Toriyama's art style is just that iconic. And for a 2004 GBA title, Advanced Adventure knocks it out of the park, distilling the charm of early Dragon Ball into pixel art that still looks killer today. From the moment you see the title screen, you're hit with vibrant palettes of color. You'll travel through a variety of memorable places like lush forests to muscle towers, gritty stairways. The world comes alive with bold colors everywhere. All the little details are amazing for a handheld game too. Goku's sprite steals the show. Smooth, full of personality. His animations while running, swinging the power pole, or throwing punches. Every move has weight and energy. You'll catch his grimace when he's hit, or the triumphant peace sign after a win. Pure Goku vibes. Enemies get the same love too. The Red Ribbon Grunts, the hulking androids, massive bosses like King Piccolo, all with unique animations that bring out their soul. Watch for little details too. Dust trails, staggering foes, speed lines on every hit, the Kamehameha's bright blue flash, chef's kiss. Bosses like Mercenary Tao move with deadly grace, while Piccolo looms like a massive nightmare on the screen. This is 2D pixel art done right. Crisp, expressive, timeless. It's a visual treat that proves that licensed games can be more than what they usually are. Now I'm sure most people already know the story of Dragon Ball pretty well by now, but we'll do a quick recap of the story for those of you who might not be familiar with the series. Advanced Adventure takes you from Goku's first steps with Bulma to his epic showdown with the evil King Piccolo, a tight, action-packed recap of Dragon Ball's early arcs. It starts with that fateful meeting, Goku and Bulma hunting Dragon Balls through forests and bandit hideouts like Yamcha's turf. You'll meet Oolong and Puar, and go on a grand adventure where you'll smack down Pilaf's goons and get into early rival showdowns with both Yamcha and Krillin, all in classic side-scrolling glory. Then it's tournament time. The 21st Tenkaichi Budokai shifts to one-on-one fights against characters like Nam and Jackie Chun. Spoiler alert, it's just Master Roshi in disguise. Simple but punchy. Then we're on to the Red Ribbon Army saga, where things really ramp up. You're storming bases, climbing Muscle Tower, facing off with memorable characters like Murasaki, General Blue, and the lethal mercenaries, all before the onslaught of Goku running through the Red Ribbon's main base. Then after another quick tournament pit stop where we meet both Tien and Chaozu, the King Piccolo arc hits. And boy, it hits hard. Krillin and Master Roshi both fall to the evil king and his minions, and Goku's out for blood. You're battling monsters to reach the final brutal clash. The game ends just short of the Piccolo Jr. saga, but it does an excellent job of loosely adapting the childhood section of Goku's story from start to finish. While Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is primarily an action platformer, it does a great job of bringing the series' most iconic characters to life. From allies to rivals and enemies, the game faithfully represents the early cast of Dragon Ball, staying true to their personalities and roles in the story. Goku's the star, cheerful, fearless, always hungry. His quick and bouncy moves match that wide-eyed charm perfectly. Bulma kicks it off, all sass and smarts, guiding Goku and Oolong on their journey with her ingenious invention, the Dragon Radar. Master Roshi's the goofy yet wise mentor, training Goku and Krillin after the first Dragon Ball hunt ends, and then testing them as Jackie Chun and the Tenkaichi Budokai. Krillin's the rival turned buddy. A real standout is Goku's best friend, and eventually you can unlock him to be playable later on. And King Piccolo? He's the ultimate shift in tone. Ruthless, towering, a fight that demands everything. There's a lot more than just these guys, and every single one is true to their roots, popping off the screen with personality and Toriyama's signature charm. A great Dragon Ball game isn't just about the story and visuals, it also needs the right sound to bring the adventure to life. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure delivers a soundtrack and sound design that perfectly complement its fast-paced action, colorful environments, and faithful adaptation of the original story. While the Game Boy Advanced audio capabilities were limited compared to home consoles at the time, this game makes the most of its hardware, offering catchy tunes and punchy sound effects that keep the excitement going from start to finish. The game's soundtrack is filled with energetic, adventurous, and sometimes dramatic tracks that match the tone of each level. The music stays true to the lighthearted and whimsical nature of early Dragon Ball, emphasizing the fun and playful journey of young Goku. While the game's soundtrack doesn't use iconic Dragon Ball anime themes due to licensing limitations, it still manages to capture the essence of Toriyama's world with its compositions. The music is catchy and memorable, fitting seamlessly with the game's pacing and environments. At its heart, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is a side-scrolling action platformer that weaves together a brilliant mix of beat-em-up brawling and one-on-one duels, and even some exhilarating aerial combat. It's a game that refuses to sit still, constantly shifting gears to keep things fresh and exciting, and it pulls this off with such finesse that you'll feel like you've stepped right into Goku's wild, unpredictable world. Whether you're plowing through waves of Red Ribbon Army grunts, squaring up against a rival in the dusty ring of the Tenkaichi Budokai, or soaring through the skies on the Nimbus Cloud with the wind in your face, every moment is crafted to bottle up the thrill and boundless energy of Goku's early adventures. It's not just variety for the sake of variety. It's a love letter to the Dragon Ball universe, letting you live out its most iconic moments in a way that feels both nostalgic and endlessly entertaining. The beating heart of Advanced Adventure is its fast-paced, fist-flying combat, and let me tell you, it is an absolute blast. Controlling Goku feels like a dream. His movements are snappy and responsive, his attacks flow together like a well-practiced scene from an anime, and every hit lands with a satisfying oomph that makes you feel unstoppable. He starts off with the basic attacks, quick jabs, swift kicks, but as you progress, his arsenal grows, unlocking some of the coolest moves straight out of the anime. You'll use such attacks as the power pole, one of the game's standout mechanics. The power pole extends to hit enemies from a distance, making combat feel dynamic and helping you hit those aerial enemies like bats and red ribbon drones. It can be used both on the ground and in the air. You can even use it to reach higher places at certain points for some platforming segments. Then there's the Kamehameha, the ultimate crowd pleaser. Charging up this iconic energy blast takes a little time, but when you finally unleash that brilliant blue beam, it tears through waves of enemies with a flash of light and surge of power, and that's just pure Dragon Ball magic. It's not just a move, it's Dragon Ball at its finest. It's a staple of the series and the game knows exactly how to make it shine. What makes the combat especially fun is its pacing. Enemies attack in waves, and the game encourages aggressive play by rewarding players who sling together combos and efficiently take down foes. The variety of enemy types from standard soldiers to robots, pirates, monsters, and other martial artists ensures that fights never feel repetitive. While combat is the main focus, Advanced Adventure is also a solid platformer. Levels are designed with verticality in mind, often requiring Goku to climb, jump, or scale using his power pole. Some stages include minor puzzles or hidden doors where players can find extra health, items, or power-ups. While not as deep as a full-fledged platformer, these sections add variety to the gameplay and give you a reason to revisit each level more than once. One of the biggest highlights of Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is its thrilling boss battles. Unlike the standard enemies that Goku faces throughout the game, these fights require players to adapt, learn attack patterns, and use all of their skills to emerge victorious. Each boss is designed to reflect their Dragon Ball counterpart from the anime or manga, making every battle feel like a faithful recreation of classic moments from the series. Boss fights in Advanced Adventure can take place in two different formats. Side-scrolling boss fights. These battles occur within the main platforming gameplay, where Goku faces off against powerful enemies while still moving around the level. These fights are fast-paced battles, with bosses often having multiple attack patterns. Then there's one-on-one fighting battles. Certain bosses, especially in the Tenkaichi Budokai, and key rival fights throughout the game, are fought in a separate mode that plays more like a simplified fighting game. These duels emphasize timing, aerial juggling, dodging, and well-timed counterattacks. Regardless of the format, each boss fight is memorable, capturing the essence of Dragon Ball's early villains and rivals. Some standout boss battles. There's Yamcha, one of the first major opponents. Yamcha serves as an early test of Goku's abilities. He's fast, agile, and utilizes his signature Wolf Fang Fist, forcing players to stay on their toes. Yamcha is even backed up by his faithful friend Puar, who likes to rain down bombs to keep things even more tense. Then, during the Tenkaichi Budokai, Goku faces Jackie Chan, who is actually Master Roshi in disguise. This one-on-one battle is more challenging than previous fights, as Jackie Chan uses powerful martial arts techniques and unpredictable movements to keep players guessing. It's one of the most satisfying battles, requiring precise dodges and well-timed counterattacks. Mercenary Tao during the Red Ribbon storyline marks a major difficulty spike in the game. He's fast, powerful, and relentless, using deadly precision to keep Goku on the defensive. His attacks include swift punches, deadly kicks, and his signature Donan Ray. Players need to master dodging and counterattacks to stand a chance against this formidable assassin. And finally, the most difficult boss fight is against King Piccolo, the demon who nearly destroyed the world. This battle is a true test of skill, as King Piccolo is larger than life, with devastating attacks and the ability to unleash energy blasts that cover the entire screen. His sheer size and strength make him feel like a near-invincible force. But with patience and mastery of Goku's abilities, players can overcome this legendary foe. Each boss fight feels unique, with different attack patterns to memorize and strategies required to win. The fights capture key moments from Dragon Ball, making them feel larger than life and incredibly exciting. The difficulty ramps up naturally, keeping players engaged without feeling too unfair. The variety in battle formats between the one-on-one duels and the side-scrolling sections keep things fresh and engaging. Every boss fight in Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure feels like an event, giving players a sense of progression as Goku grows stronger with each victory. Whether facing off against skilled martial artists or towering villains, the game ensures that every battle is both fun and memorable. By the time the players reach King Piccolo, they've mastered Goku's abilities, making the final fight a satisfying conclusion to an incredible adventure. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure isn't the longest game, but it delivers a well-paced and engaging experience from start to finish. The main story can be completed in around 4 to 6 hours, depending on the player's skill level and how much time it's spent exploring levels for hidden items. While this might seem short compared to modern action games, it fits well within the structure of a handheld title, providing a tight, focused experience without unnecessary padding. For players looking to extend their playtime, the game offers additional characters to unlock, a free battle mode, and a hard mode, and you can even replay the game as Krillin, adding replay value. Hunting for all the collectibles and mastering each battle can push the total playtime closer to 10 hours. While it may not be the longest Dragon Ball game, its variety in gameplay and strong pacing make it an adventure worth revisiting. The game was first released in Japan on July 15th in 2004 for the Game Boy Advance. As one of the last major releases for the system, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure capitalized on the popularity of Dragon Ball in Japan, giving fans a new way to experience Goku's early adventures. The game was well received, especially for its vibrant graphics and faithful representation of the Dragon Ball saga. Japanese gamers who had been following the franchise since the 80s were thrilled to relive those classic moments in video game form. North American fans had to wait a bit longer to get their hands on this handheld title. It was released on November 16th in 2006, 2 full years after its Japanese debut. By then, Dragon Ball Z had already cemented its status as a cultural phenomenon in the US, making Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure a welcome but somewhat under-the-radar experience for fans eager to explore Goku's younger days. Despite being released towards the tail end of the Game Boy Advance life cycle, it gained attention as one of the standout handheld titles in the Dragon Ball franchise. European players had to wait even longer for their chance to play the game, as it wasn't released until June 29, 2007. This late release was typical for many Game Boy Advance titles, with some games taking longer to hit European shelves. Nonetheless, European fans who had enjoyed the Dragon Ball anime and manga were eager to dive into Goku's early adventures, and the game found its audience despite the delayed launch. This game's localization itself was well handled, with an English script that stayed faithful to the original story while making slight adjustments for clarity. Character names, attacks, and dialogue were adjusted to better match the English dub from Funimation. It also changed the rare bits of spoken dialogue within the game to the Western voice cast instead of the Japanese originals. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure has earned its place as a sought-after title among collectors, particularly for those who are passionate about both Dragon Ball and the Game Boy Advance. While it may not have been commercially hyped as some of the larger Dragon Ball titles, its unique focus on the original series has given it a niche but dedicated following. The price of Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure varies depending on its condition and whether it includes the original box and manual. As of recent years, the game has become somewhat rare, especially complete in box. Complete in box copies can fetch higher prices, while a loose cartridge can be found for around $20 to $40 depending on market fluctuations. A complete in-box copy typically runs between $60 and $100. Sometimes more if it's in excellent condition. This price range places it in the hidden gem category, where it's not excessively expensive, but its scarcity is enough to drive up the cost for those who want the complete experience. For both Dragon Ball enthusiasts and Game Boy Advance collectors, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is a title worth keeping an eye on. Whether you're seeking a piece of Dragon Ball history or looking to add another unique GBA game to your collection, Advanced Adventure continues to offer great value, with its blend of nostalgia, scarcity, and quality gameplay, making it a highly desirable item for any platformer or beat-em-up fans collection. Unlike many other Dragon Ball games that focus on the more popular Z portion of the story, Advanced Adventure takes players back to the very beginning of Goku's journey. It offers a rare opportunity to experience the early Dragon Ball storylines, from his first meeting with Bulma to his battles in the World Martial Arts Tournament. For fans who grew up with Dragon Ball Z, This was a chance to rediscover the lighter, more adventurous spirit of the original series. Though it didn't reach the same level of mainstream success of Dragon Ball Z games like Budokai or Tenkaichi, Advanced Adventure earned a loyal fanbase who appreciated its faithful adaptation of the manga and anime. Its combination of side-scrolling combat, platforming, and light RPG elements made it stand out from other Dragon Ball games, setting it apart as a unique experience that still holds up today. For many, it remains one of the best ways to experience the earliest adventures of Dragon Ball in video game form. In the grand scope of Dragon Ball video game, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure may not be the biggest or most groundbreaking title, but it remains an important and beloved piece of Dragon Ball history. As one of the few games to focus on the early years of Goku's journey, it stands as a testament to the power of nostalgia, faithful adaptations, and fun gameplay. The game's legacy is one of lasting appeal, with a special place in the hearts of fans who still fondly remember the game's release, and continue to revisit it as one of the best handheld experiences. I've personally got a real soft spot for Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. It's one of those games I generally adore and keep coming back to every couple of years for a quick, nostalgic playthrough. There's something so satisfying about popping it into my GBA, kicking back, and reliving Goku's early adventures all over again. To me, it's not just a Dragon Ball game. It's one of the shining stars in the Game Boy Advance's incredible library, a true standout that doesn't get nearly the love or recognition it deserves. The experience is so tight, so well crafted, from the pixel-perfect sprite work to the way every punch in Kamehameha feels just right. It's a bite-sized burst of pure fun that nails what made the original Dragon Ball so special. And honestly, I think it's a crime that more people aren't singing its praises. Whether I'm dodging Mercenary Tao's deadly strikes or storming through Muscle Tower, it never fails to put a grin on my face. This little gem has earned its spot in my heart, and I'll keep revisiting it as long as my GBA holds up. Which, knowing Nintendo's hardware, it's probably gonna be forever. Thank you for tuning in to this look at Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. I hope you had as much fun watching as I did talking about this underrated gem. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to tap that like button and subscribe for more videos like this one. I've got a lot more nostalgic classics coming your way and you don't want to miss those. Catch you all next time. Thanks for tuning in.